welcome back to my channel. It's Jean here, and sorry for my overwhelming excitement. I know based on the title of this video it's not really a happy video, but I'm really excited to be back for you guys. I haven't sat down to film since Halloween, and I know it's been a while, and basically the story is going to kind of clarify a few things that why she's been MIA for those who are new to my channel, and for those who aren't really in the loop. My mom has cancer, so I've been basically kind of like taking downtime trying to figure out a filming schedule, and it's always chaotic. Like, I can't really set times sometimes, so yeah. Basically, some of you guys saw this like 3 or 4 weeks ago on my Snapchat when this actually happened. You guys don't know the full story. I was just like showing you guys some like quick snaps of what was going on, like when she was being rushed to the hospital, and yeah, I'm just going to tell you guys the story. So it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago on a Thursday, I believe. It was on a Wednesday or Thursday, I'm not sure. And I went with my mom. Like, she wanted me to go to get her medication because after her chemo she gets 7 days of medication, and she sits there for like about 2 or 3 hours. And I was there waiting in the room. I didn't really understand how long it took because I was in there for like an hour or two. So I was just like FaceTiming Manny, and if you guys don't know who Manny is my fiance. She came out, and like I was still on FaceTime. I was like, Manny, say hi to my mom. And my mom was like, but she was kind of weak. And basically after chemo, like the chemo is fine, like she's fine after she gets chemo, but it's the medication that makes her really weak. So like when we were leaving the hospital, we were catching a taxi because I was trying to get an Uber. And as you guys know, if you're familiar with the Uber app, there's like Uber X, Uber XL, like different types of Uber rides, and the progression gets upper through like if you're trying to go to like an event, like those fancy cars. And I wanted just like a regular Uber, and I was wondering why was it costing $30 just to get to my house, which was like 10 minutes, when we took an Uber there and it was like $7 or $6. And I was like, what the heck, yo? So we ended up taking a taxi, and the taxi took the longest wait ever to get to my house. So next thing you know, like we're in the taxi, my mom was like getting frustrated because she really wanted to go home. She was so weak and tired and hungry. So she like opened up her jacket, and it was like her whole side of like where her cancer is. Like, I'll probably insert a photo because if you guys aren't familiar with my first video, I showed you guys what it looks like, but it's like right here, and it was like the whole side was bloody. And I was like, oh my god, like I was just like in shock, like, mom, like what's going on? Like, you know, she was like, oh, it's just like bleeding out. And like when she was casually saying that, I was like, oh, okay, so we just gotta hurry up and go home so we can redo the bandage. So the taxi driver finally got us home, and she was like, okay, let's stop into CVS because she wanted some more bandages to like bandage her wounds, because we do that every day. CVS is right there. We walked into CVS, and next thing you know, she goes like, and like collapse. And I literally like grabbed her, and I'm like, mom, I don't think you're able to shop, like we need to go home, like you can get this later. She sat on her sofa in the living room, and I was like, mom, you need to eat something so you're no longer feeling weak, so she can redo her bandage so she could stop bleeding. And her whole side was full of blood. Like, it was so severe that it was protruding through a jacket. Like, the blood was coming on the outside of her jacket. A jacket, like, I mean a thick jacket, not like a lightweight jacket. It was a thick jacket, and it was protruding through there. So at the time, I wasn't thinking like alarming. I was just like, she just needs to rebandage her bandage, and once she rebandages it, it will stop. So I got her some graham crackers and some ginger ale, and I fixed her like three pieces of bacon. And I know that's kind of like unhealthy, but at this point I was just trying to get some food in her system. So after that, Manny came. I called him an Uber. He came like around, I called him like, it was about 3:30 when we got in the house, and he came about like 4:20. Takes him about like 15 minutes to get to my house through traffic, because he doesn't like work that far from my house. Once she got a little bit of energy, she got up, like Manny was still in the room, and we went in here, changed, took off her clothes, went in the bathroom, and redid her bandage. So when she was doing that, she was feeling really faint. Like she didn't want to like get up. Like I had to basically do everything. Usually when she's doing her bandages, all I have to do is just like, she holds like the gauze and I just tape it up. But during this time, I literally was doing everything on my own, because she was like over the toilet like this, like literally out of it, like weak. So once I finally got her bandage done, she came on the bed and lied down, because she was really like, she didn't have any energy whatsoever. And then I went into the room, talked to Manny for about like 15 minutes, just like it was about like 10 minutes, talking to him like how was work, blah blah, like how was training the other day, and just like basically we were just on Facebook when she was laying down, because I thought it was no biggie. So I came back in the room, and she was calling my name, and I came back in the room and she was bleeding again. And I was like, this never happened before, you know what I mean? So at this point I was like, Mom, I think you need to go to the hospital. I think we need to call 911. And she was like, no, I don't, like, I think we could change you one more time. And I was like, no. And Manny saw like how bad it was. He was like, yo, you really need to call 911. So she was like, no, I'll just go back to the hospital where she got her I think she wanted to go to George Washington Hospital, and we were going to Uber there. So she just put back on her jacket and didn't rechange the bandage again, because at this point it was pointless. So once we came out the door, she basically like collapsed, literally collapsed on the floor. And I'm like, we gotta call 911. We gotta call 911. And like when I was like calling 911, I remember like I literally wanted to break down. Like, have you ever was like so calm in a situation, and when you're calling 911 and literally explaining to them what's happening, that's when you like break down? And like I was trying to hold it in, trying to be strong and not crying for my mom. So I was like holding it in, and like, you know, when your bottom lip is shivering, like I was just like, she's bleeding really bad, like can you send help right away? How old is she? Like, what does she has? And did she eat anything? Don't give her nothing to eat or drink no longer from this point. Ambulance on his way. And we recommended George Washington Hospital, just the fact that that's where she was, all her doctors are, and her breast cancer doctors, and you know, chemo and stuff like that. So all her information is there. So they came and they were like, whoa, like there's so much blood, like what happened? We told them the tumor's on the outside of the breast, and they wasn't like understanding that, because it's like her situation is kind of unique to the fact that if you guys seen the picture, you don't really normally see breast cancer protruding outside of the skin like that. So like her situation is really unique, and people were like so confused, like, are you sure you have breast cancer? I'm like, yeah, she has breast cancer, she's doing chemo, like she's been diagnosed and stuff like that. So it was like a really a lot of repetitive questions. So Manny was sitting in front of the ambulance car, and I was sitting in the back with my mom, and literally like she was still bleeding. Like they weren't doing anything to stop the blood whatsoever. The lady was just sitting there typing her information from her ID, and she was just typing it in, and I'm like, okay. She was like, can you help me with the bleeding? And it was like so bad, you guys. You know, like the little cradle where you lay in when you're in the ambulance, like the little white sheet was like her whole backside was covered with blood, because that's how much it was gushing out when she was laying down. And I'm like, hey, can you help her? She's like bleeding really bad. And that's when she like unbuttoned her shirt, and then just like put some like more gauze on top of it, which really didn't help. Like I'm so used to watching TV where when you're in the ambulance they help you right then and there, you know what I mean? But obviously that wasn't the case. She was just like laying there with no IVs, no nothing, like the girl just sitting in there typing. And we finally got there, and oh my god, you guys, this is where Manny was like, I seen another side of Manny. She was getting so mad. We were literally in like the ER, like as soon as you come in, we were just standing there for like an hour. I'm not even joking. Like I was calling my uncles, like letting her brothers know what was going on, because we have like no family here. I was like informing them what was going on, and they were like so mad, like why isn't she being seen? And I was like, she was sweating, like protruding sweat from her skin, like severely. Like it was like we were in a hot sauna and she was sweating, and they was like, no, we can't give you water, and she really needed water. Like she was about to pass out, and that was like really frustrating me, because she needs to drink something. How about she hurry up and be seen and then drink and eat something, because obviously she can't drink anything before she's being seen. So it's like, you guys are prolonging the situation. Like she could have died. Like that's how much blood she lost. Like she lost like 4 cups of blood, and she was like barely out of it. So we were like, why can't you give her nothing? And Manny was just like pacing back and forth, like so mad. Like I was just like, I know I'm smiling now, but it's like just to hide the pain. Not hide the pain, I'm not trying to say I'm fake or phony, but I just don't want to like relive that moment, so I'm just trying to like smile through it. But he was literally pissed, and I can see it in his face. Like he was just like mad for her. Like, why can't you treat her? So an hour and a half later, we go in the room, and she still can't drink nothing. We waited 30 minutes again in the room, and then some nurses came and basically changed her bandage, and basically was kept asking the same questions over again. How old are you? What type of cancer do you have? When was you diagnosed? When did you start chemo? And I literally, not even joking, you guys, we told this story 20 times that night to 20 different people. I just don't understand, when someone or a nurse or a doctor exit the room, or a paramedic, can you inform the next person, so we're not really retelling the story over and over again? Like I literally was like, you know what, you can tell it, like she can tell it, like I'm not about to tell this story over again. This was like really irritating, and her information's in the system, you know what I mean? Are you diabetic? Are you this? Are you that? Are you this? Are you that? I'm like, no. Like, you know what I mean? So after that, they basically stopped the bleeding, which is great, but she still couldn't drink or eat nothing. After that, they said you need a blood transfusion because her blood count was really low. So she was going to be staying overnight in the hospital, and we were basically with her about about 10 o'clock. We got there around 5, and we stayed there for 10. She wasn't seen until, when we got there at 5, she wasn't seen until like 7:40. That's just like the time difference. Me and Manny went back home, and she stayed in the hospital overnight. So we were assuming that we're gonna get her the next day, but no, she stayed in for another day, hospitalized. And they kept saying like, we want to observe her. So the next day, they was like, we want to keep her another day for another blood transfusion. And she didn't come home until, I think she went Thursday, and she didn't come home Sunday. So yeah, that day we saved my mom's life, and if we weren't there, then I don't know what would have happened. So I'm glad that I was here to help her, and that I went to the doctor with her, because if I didn't go to the doctor with her, then I don't even know if she would have made it out the taxi, to be honest. And she didn't have her phone on her, so I wouldn't even know any information of her whereabouts. So I'm really thankful for that. And yeah, if you have a similar story, please share your stories down below. And if you see anyone asking questions, and if you know the answer to them, please help me out, because sometimes your comments do get overwhelming, and I really don't have time to respond back to everyone and answer all your questions. So if you see someone in the comment box, reach out to them. If you have a story similar to them, it's like, I just want us to use the platform for all of us. I don't want it to just be me commenting to everyone. I feel like we Ginsters should all have like a support system. Like we can all go on my channel knowing that we have each other's back, you know what I mean? I want that for us. So I don't know if it sounds a little cheesy, but I just want that when you guys come to my channel. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you Ginsters in my next video. Bye.